Ahoy there! I see you're practicing with your chanter. Glad to know it, glad to see it, glad to hear it. So let's keep going with orange and blue. And let me know in the comments if you're enjoying this workshop. If you're learning from these Get Bagpipe Ready workshops, I'd love to hear from you. And let's get rocking and rolling here. We're in lesson 3 of orange and blue. And let me just play a little bit for you. That's where lesson 3 is going to end. Now that's the way that goes in the sheet music that I've got at my site in the link below, along with all the other lessons. But I'm going to play it for you again. Let me know in the comments if you spot the difference. This is the way I tend to play it. I don't know if it's an error I picked up along the way, or if it was different sheet music I learned when I was younger. So I'll have a listen here the way I usually play it. You may catch it, you may not, but I'm going to teach you both ways in this workshop. Did you catch it? There's an extra note in there, and you have 9 notes, 8 notes, 9 notes to choose from. You can't count past one a hand. When I get above 5, I start having trouble. Anyway, there's an extra low A, so I'm going to give you both versions in this lesson 3 chunk. So the version in the sheet music, starting from the D, we ended off bar 2, or lesson 2 with a D, starting from that D. So that's how the sheet music goes. Here's how I tend to like to play it. So I sneak in an extra low A, and I'll tell you where as we go along, note by note. First without embellishments, then we'll talk about embellishments. So we're on the D, we're going down to a C. This may in fact be our first C of the song. Easy transition, just drop down, top finger to the bottom hand. You got it. And then that C is quite short, and we're already going up to an E. A little bit trickier transition here from C to E. So from C to E, bottom hand, middle 2 fingers come down, and the pinky finger comes up. Top hand, ring finger comes up. And I know I said no embellishments, but we have 2 E's in a row. We got to do something to separate those 2 rascals. So we're going to do a little strike. Remember, strikes are the down and up movement. Strike with our ring finger. You want to go fast, but you don't want to go so fast that you miss the hole altogether. So make sure you cover that hole completely and then pop up again. Let's play what we got so far. Nice. Now we're going to go down to the C after that E, or to the low A, but I'll give you the C version first. So we're going C, then down to low A. So that C is quite short. E down to C, lift up the middle 2 fingers, drop the ring finger of the bottom hand, and drop the pinky finger of the bottom hand. Drop the ring finger of the top hand, pardon me, I should say. Drop the pinky finger of the bottom hand. And we're not on that C very long. Before we drop down to low A, not too bad of a transition. Just lift up that pinky, let the middle 2 fingers drop. From that low A, we pop back up to the E. Super easy transition here, just lift up the ring finger. That's the second half. Let's play what we got all together, then we'll talk about a few different grace notes and embellishments, but first I'll give you that low A version as well. Good. Now, if you want to sneak in that extra low A, it's going to happen after the second E. So we play the first E, we do the E strike. You can sneak in a low A then do a C, low A, E. So it'd be an extra note. So what happens if you sneak in that low A, it's an extra note. The second E is going to end up being shorter. And if you choose not to do it, just follow what the sheet music is. That E is going to be a bit longer. Instead of going E to low A, up to C to low A, you just go E to C to low A. So there's the two options for the notes. And let me give you embellishments. Then we've got lesson 3 all wrapped up. And we'll talk a little bit about rhythm in lesson 4, just like where to put those downbeats, because rhythm's super important in Strathspeys, especially if you got a dancer dancing. You want to keep that rhythm consistent and keep your dancers happy, because they have swords. They have swords. You've got to keep those dancers happy. So here's lesson 3 without embellishments, and we'll add in those embellishments. And now with embellishments, here's how it'll sound like. So we have a grace note from that first D down to C. So that top finger has to lift first, and then we drop the top finger of the bottom hand, then the top finger of the top hand comes down. That was confusing with all those top fingers. G grace note finger up, D grace note finger down, G grace note finger down. And then we have 2 quick grace notes here. So after that E strike, we have a G grace note down to C. So that's the top finger of the top hand. And then our second grace note is a D grace note. That finger has to lift, go down to the low A position, and then that finger comes down. And if you're adding in that extra low A, it's the same, that C and low A, you just added a low A before the C. So no embellishment on that one though, just E down to low A, then you have your. So that's the way I like to do it. You might hear it come out in some of my demos. If you're following the sheet music and it's a little bit simpler, you just do that E strike and then G grace note to C, D grace note down to low A. A little bit simpler. So whatever you like the sound of or whatever your fingers find easiest is good with me. And from that low A we have one more embellishment, our first doubling of the tune, from low A up to E with an E doubling. There's the doubling. So low A, first part of the doubling, that G grace note finger comes up, then we lift up the E finger, then the G grace note finger comes down, just a normal grace note up to E. Second part of the doubling, the middle finger does an up and down, and then that's that. If we put it all together, and then we gotta get them nice and close. And that's not quite the last note of the third bar, but that's where we're going to end the third lesson. And again, lesson 4, I'll talk more about where you'd be tapping your foots in this first, your foots, not your feet, but your foots. In this first line of music, where to tap your foots. And yeah, let me just play through lesson 1, 2, and 3 nice and slow for you. Again, the link's below to check out all the lessons of the workshop. Thumbs up, subscribe, comment below. Let me know if you're learning orange and blue or learning with Get Bagpipe Ready. I'd love to hear from you. And here's lessons 1 to 3. Count Can't wait to see you in lesson 4.